Welcome back, everyone, to Brick and Brand. We're so happy you're
Hello.
here. How
We are
you
so
doing?
happy. It's been a couple of weeks. I'm so
I know.
excited to finally be back with you.
I forgot. We've been buried 6 feet underwater for the past few weeks, getting everything ready and getting ready for the holidays. And business has
Yes.
been super, super busy, which is always good.
It's crazy. I've had 3 back-to-back trips, I think, since we last dropped an episode. I was in Atlanta for a convention, and then last week I was with you, my beautiful sister, in San Diego. It was the best 48 hours or not even
Literally.
40.
I mean, 36 to 48. It was so fast, but we
It
did
was
as
so
much as we
fast.
could, made the most
Yeah.
of it, and still had so much fun. I feel like you've
Yes.
been traveling all over and you have like 4 or 5 more trips coming up, right?
Yeah, I'm not even close to being done. I had 2 trips this month, and then I'll obviously be home in San Diego for Thanksgiving, which is next week. And then after that, I'll be in New York for the annual ICSC trip, which I think you're coming to New York now, right?
Yes. I'm trying
Oh
to get
my god.
dad to book the tickets. I'm so excited. I had no idea you were even going at the same time, but it worked out perfectly because dad and I are
Yes.
just going to go for like a fun daughter getaway, and then we'll probably see a show and see the Rockettes, get some pizza. I'm so excited. And knowing that you're going to be there, that makes it 10 million
I
times
know. I mean,
better.
because we haven't been to New York as a family in 5 years, but we're such New York girlies. Like at Christmas time, we just go all out on the coats, the boots, the scarves, and we both live in like fairly warm places.
Yes.
So I just feel like I'm thriving in New York. And I plan my outfits weeks in advance, and it's just exhausting. And I always am ready to leave, but I have so much fun
So
staying
much
up
fun.
late and just, you know,
Well,
living off
we
the energy of the city.
we used to go with dad like for a couple years in a row. I don't know how many years did we do that?
We
Like 4 or
did.
5, all of us
Yeah.
girls and then dad. That was like
Mhm.
so, so fun. I have the best memories of that. And I've been begging dad since then to like, start going with me again because it's such
It's
a
so
fun
fun.
tradition. And there's nothing like New York at Christmas time. Are
No,
you
there's
kidding
not.
me? It is so magical.
It's gonna be amazing. So we have a lot of, like, fun trips coming up, and then I'm going to Utah for Christmas, which you may be coming to that too. I think we're still TBD, but I can't
TBD.
believe the holidays are, like, already upon us. There's just been so much going on.
I know.
Work, holidays, and then everything with Brick& and Brand.
Wait, so you guys are going to Park City, right? Have you been there
We're
before?
going to Park City. I've been there for
Okay.
a couple of hours.
Okay,
A year
same.
ago, yeah, I just drove up for the day, but it was really from what I remember, it was so cozy and magical, like, I wanted to stay forever.
No, it is. It's the cutest little town. It's right in the mountains, like right on the slopes. Super quaint and small, but they do Christmas so well. It's
Like no one
magical,
else.
Yeah.
When did you go to Park City?
I went with Josh on a business trip.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. Like last
just
year?
yes, I think it was last year and it was snowy. So it must have been like fall, but it wasn't
Yeah.
full-blown Christmas time yet, but it was still so cute, and the hill is all lit up with lights, the
It's so
slopes, and
cute.
it's so pretty. Yeah, it's gonna be the perfect spa, like, read a book, maybe 2.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the perfect
I know.
Christmas.
Well, in our business too, we always talk about this. I don't know if everyone knows this, but we really only have 2 weeks a year where we can really unplug, and that's between Christmas and New Year's.
My
The
god,
rest
don't
of the
remind
year,
me.
even if you go on vacation, you're really still I mean, at least for me, like, we're still on. So, we really, like, look forward to this little time, and I think it's important to, like, plan some kind of a trip where you can just really unplug because you really do need to, like, rejuvenate yourself after 12 months of working every day, basically.
It's so nonstop. I was going last night to LA just for the night to go to a little concert, and it was like 7 o'clock on a Friday night, and I was getting calls, texts, and I was one drink in, and so I'm like, "Sorry, I have to talk tomorrow. Let me call you back in the morning. I can't chat." But
Yeah.
it never ends, and I was sitting there thinking, "Good God, it's 7 o'clock on a Friday night, and I'm still having people reach out to me for things. It just never
Yeah.
ends, you know?
It's just a 24/7 business, and, like, the only way to really manage it is to set your own kind of boundaries of,
Yeah.
like, "I'm not gonna respond on a Sunday," or "It's not an emergency." I used to think everything was an emergency, and if anyone texted or called, I had to answer, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit better about, like, "No, this person can wait 2 days," it's not if they can't wait 2 days, like, "Oh, well," because everyone has lives, and so it is true, though, it can kind of, like, overtake every minute of your life if you're not careful.
And I feel like this business is so relationship based that it's so easy to feel the need to respond instantly or call back or solve their issue and get them an answer as quickly as possible.
That's one of the things that sets you apart, right? Like, if you never
Mhm.
respond quickly, how are you gonna especially starting out, you do wanna kinda be someone that's, like,
Johnny
always
on the
available.
spot.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and people do appreciate that. It makes a
No,
difference.
totally. And if they can go find another broker that will do that for them, and
Then
then
they'll go there
you're
and use
replaced
them.
real quick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, we are kind of replaceable in a lot of ways. That's just part of being in our field. And we've been talking a lot lately about like how weirdly emotional our business is. I don't think people think of real estate as being emotional. Think they think of like the opposite of that. But
Right.
it's actually so emotional.
It feels like we're therapists half the time or majority of the
Yeah, and
time.
I need a therapist.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm not authorized to be helping anyone
No.
else.
I
I
try
need
to do
my
the
own
self-help
therapist.
thing, and that's not working so well. I think that's a scam. I need a real therapist.
Exactly. But one client maybe, like, needs to be talked off a ledge, and then the next
Yes.
one's got cold feet, and you've gotta talk them through it. It's
Yeah.
nonstop. I just feel like half of the time I get off of a call, and I'm thinking I've prepared all my notes, and I know what I'm gonna talk about, and then I get on the call, and I spend 30 minutes talking them off a ledge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, this turned into a therapy session, and that was not what I was expecting," but you
No.
pivot and you're like, "Okay, if that's what my client needs today,
Yeah.
I will be their therapist, no problem." But I
Well,
definitely
because
don't
there's
feel
so
qualified.
many No, 100% we are, but there's so many things that can go wrong, like, on every single deal or project you're working on, and usually those things do go wrong, or some of them, if not all of them. And so as a tenant or a landlord or developer, whatever it is, like, those things end up coming back on us, and because we're the problem solvers, so
Mhm,
we end up hearing about people's very personal lives and their money situations, their everything that they're worried about or struggling with, they tell it to us. And that's like a great honor to be able to guide them. But it's also like, oh my gosh, that's kind of like way beyond what we thought the role was as a broker.
it's stressful, yeah, and it's high pressure, and you wanna make sure that you're educating people in the right direction and giving them good
Right,
advice, and especially when it's the weight of their entire livelihood depends on
right.
it. It's a lot of pressure.
It is. And everyone has such different personalities too.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm,
such different, and that's something I feel like depending on the client, you have to switch and kind of approach them in a different way
totally.
because they're totally different.
I've been watching I don't know if you watch this, but I've been watching Owning Manhattan. Have you seen that show?
Yes, is that the one with Ryan Seacrest?
Yeah, that's not his
Or
last name. It's Ryan Serpant, something like that. Serfant.
I
Well,
knew it had
Servant's the
an
name of their
S.
company, I think. I think
Okay.
that is his last name, but fantastic show. Quick little plug. It is amazing. Season 2 is dropping for them December 5th. I'm an avid follower, so I'm shamelessly plugging them. But I was rewatching season 1 in preparation for season 2 dropping. I was watching this happen to them over and over, and now they're doing residential. So it's homes. So it's a little bit different in the sense that, people are trying to identify a future home, and that is very emotional, maybe more so
100%.
than a business. However, it's the same type of thing, and I think a lot of people don't expect that to happen in commercial. It's like, well, yeah, it makes sense that there's hot and cold when you're trying to find a home to live in because
Sure.
That's very personal, but the same thing goes on in businesses and when you're opening businesses and
Yeah.
there's little hiccups or maybe your client gets offended by a response or an action of the
Yeah.
other party, and you've gotta be that bridge that connects the dots and keeps the deal moving forward.
And I feel like a lot of that getting your feelings hurt and that drama comes with local, like, more mom and pop tenants, people who
Mhm.
don't have experience, even if it's a landlord who has a lot of properties, but maybe they're not experienced dealing with national tenants. It's, with the big national tenants, it's not as difficult to get things done because they have a very clear formula. There's nothing personal. But when you're working with a lot of these mom and pops, it is, like you said, it's just as big of a deal to them as buying a home, if not more so, because they're
Exactly.
investing their whole livelihood in this, and I've had landlords tell me, just halfway through a lease negotiation, "I'm terminating discussions and negotiations because this took too long." And it's like, "Oh my wait, what?" Like, this is totally normal, and I try to explain to them the
Right.
timeline, but they're not experienced, so it's just like a constant emotional roller coaster, and our whole business is relationships, like you said. So we have to do the right thing and feel trusted.
Mhm.
Our clients need to trust us. And kind of the first step to even being in a situation where you're negotiating a deal or have a tenant or a landlord relationship is kind of, meeting those people and earning their trust and actually forming a relationship, which is like the most important part, forming and then keeping that relationship of our business. And, we think about it as like you and I talk about it as like the first date when you go and you're pitching or meeting someone for the first time. And honestly, it's exactly the same as a first date. Like you get dressed up, you kind of have the nervous butterflies, you try and prepare what you're going to say in advance. Do you do that on first dates? Or is
Yes.
that just me?
No, I'm literally sitting here thinking I'm in a relationship, but I feel like I'd be so much better at dating based on my real estate experience. Like, if I
Oh,
had to go back out
100%.
and start, like, interviewing, dating, I would have my questions, like, I would know what to say. I would just be so
Yeah.
prepared because we go through this all the time in
I
real
would have,
estate.
like, 3 pages of notes and, like, what to say, what to respond if he says this, what not to
Exactly.
say, red flags.
He made this facial expression in response to this question, therefore, this is what that
Yeah,
means.
all the body language. Yeah, it really prepares you well for the dating world, so we will see if we ever need that skill. But it is true because there's so many different approaches, when you go in and you're meeting someone for the first time. And I'm just curious, Delaney, because this has happened to me. Have you ever gone into a client pitch or a meeting for the first time with someone and you just immediately were like, oh, this isn't going to go well? Like, they don't like me. I don't know what it is, but this is not going to end well. Has that ever happened to you?
Of course. I think I'm, like, overly observant, so I'm constantly trying to read people's body language, facial expressions, eye contact, mannerisms, and interpret what that means and what they're feeling, and probably more so than is healthy, but I just can't help it. That's how I connect with people, and so, yes, I've had a couple of instances where I've gone in to pitch a client or to get a deal done, and I can just tell right off the bat they're not feeling me.
They're not
And
feeling it.
yeah, they're just not feeling it. There's like hesitancy, they're withdrawing. I mean, it literally feels like
Mhm.
you're on a first date. It's insane.
Yeah. You're like a psychologist. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
women are a lot better than men at reading social cues, like,
we are.
especially in our business. I
We
have the
are.
same thing. I can immediately tell if someone is not sure about me or doesn't like me.
Are you
But
more
oh
of like a overly prepared visuals, have a
my gosh.
12-page PowerPoint when you're pitching a new client, or are you kind of like, "No, let me get to know the personal side, and then I'll prove to them that obviously
Yeah,
I'm knowledgeable about my business?"
it's kind of a mix. I don't like bringing a lot of, like, papers, and I don't like presentations very much because I think it's very
Okay.
boring.
Okay.
So I don't bring a lot of things to show them. And I lean more into the relationship side, but I do spend a lot of time preparing to make sure I know everything about their business model and competitors. So, but I keep it more in my brain and then I kind of casually mix it into the conversation. I don't know many people that like presentations. I mean, maybe if you're pitching like CBRE or JLL or some big corporate firm,
Right.
you need to do that, but I think most people just wanna know that you know what you're talking about and you are likable, and they're gonna enjoy
Mhm.
spending time with you because we spend a lot of time with each other.
Exactly, and you guys can communicate well, and the conversation flows in between the 2 of you. I feel like that's really what's most important. I'm kind of the same way. Like, it's so important to be knowledgeable and make sure you're educated about their requirement and their needs and ensuring them that you can fulfill those needs, but being conversational, being easy to talk to, looking your client in the eye, being
Yeah.
present, being high energy, those are what's so important. I had a call with dad a couple weeks back, and I may have shared this with you already, but I answered the phone and the first thing he said was, "Oh my God, what's wrong? Like, you sound exhausted." And
No.
I was kind of offended. Okay, that's harsh, but thank you very
That's my
much.
normal voice,
Yeah,
so
I am
thank you.
exhausted, but and he said, "Sweetie, that's not okay, like, you need to get some more energy because your clients can hear your tone of
Yeah.
voice, and if you're exhausted, they're gonna notice. That's a red flag to them."
Yes.
And that's so true. No matter how much you know about real estate or about this specific deal you're working on, if you're not personable, able to have a good
Mhm.
conversation, a constructive conversation, your knowledge is worthless,
Heck.
basically.
And our
So
our business can be so draining, so you have to take the time to re-energize. Dad has told me the same thing, and I sometimes I forget and I just work myself into the ground, but it's you have to remain somewhat, like, enough energized to where you can give that back to your clients. And I also think
exactly.
just, like, listening sometimes more than you
Mm,
talk. I've heard a lot of people pitch business and they just word vomit all this information. And it's almost like they're trying to show this potential client that they're just so smart. They have all this knowledge. And it's like, how about you listen and you ask questions
mhm,
and then you speak if you need to. But I'm a huge proponent of asking them questions and just being like, I'm a student of you and your business because I don't know anything compared to them
exactly,
related to their business.
exactly,
So I think that's something a lot of salespeople forget sometimes.
totally. So now I wanna talk a little bit about some red flags. We talked about how to pitch and get a new client. What are some things that you've noticed in your career that have happened that have kinda been signs of maybe your client's lukewarm on you or they're,
Yeah.
not responding super fast or they're leaving you on red? Is there any, like,
Are you talking
examples
about
you
my
could
ex-boyfriend? Or wait, what are we talking about?
No, literally. This is, like, very
Business,
triggering.
yes. Yeah, it's
No, just
very
kidding.
triggering. Don't talk to me about leaving me on red. Don't do it. Yes, this does happen. It doesn't happen a lot, but especially when you're starting out and you're working with a lot of, like, different people that maybe are newer, they don't have as much of experience, this kinda stuff can happen, and 100%. Ghosting is one that has happened to me, and that's just what it sounds like. Like, they
Mhm.
just don't respond. They just stop responding. And sometimes there's really, like, no re you really don't know why. Like, it's nothing you didn't have a fight, you didn't kick him out of the house. I mean, you didn't do something wrong. All of a sudden, they just don't respond, and you don't know, like, I've wondered before, like, did they die? What
Oh my
happened? Like,
god.
literally, they're just dropped off the face of the planet.
Right.
And you actually worry that everything's okay. But that's just a classic case of ghosting, and there's
Totally.
others. I mean, what are some other red flags you've noticed?
I feel like a big one for me is, like, let me pick your brain, let me ask you 1,001 questions, but it's just for advice. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily know if I'm ready to actually do a deal, open up a storefront right now. Maybe in
Mhm.
2 or 3 years, but I just wanted your advice right now. No problem. That's what we're here for, like, happy to help. And I think a big part of being brokers is trusting the process, investing in your future. So, whether or not that deal is actually going to come to fruition, being able to give 30 minutes of your time, we love to do that. And that's what we
100%.
do for a living. So, there's no problem with that. The only issue is when it's a year of that. It's
Right.
repetitive and they keep coming back for more. more questions and more advice and market knowledge, and all of a sudden you realize before you know it, it's been 3 months and you've given them, 90% of your toolbox, and they may never do a deal with you, or they may be
Yeah.
currently trying to get a broker from another firm to represent
Right.
them. And
It's
so
hard.
there's a lot of, like, that gray area of not knowing my time is valuable and my
So
knowledge is
valuable.
valuable. That's really all we
Yeah.
have. Dad always reminds me, you have a service. You don't have a product, right? You help
Right.
people, but people will take advantage of that
Yeah.
if you're not careful. So,
And I think people forget, like, that this is how we make a living. Like,
literally.
this is how we pay our bills. It's not just something we do for fun, although it is really
Right.
fun. I think that's people do take advantage 100%, and you kinda have to, like, sniff that out pretty
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
there's the one
laughing
we
because
can't.
I'm thinking of like 12 relationships. Okay, 12 is an exaggeration. 3 or
Oh, I
4.
know. I know.
Or situationships, I should say, that have done this that I'm like, definitely taking advantage,
Yeah.
but okay.
I know, but you just, like, let it slide for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and you're
Right.
like, "What have I done? Get out. I never want to
Right,
talk to
right.
you again."
You wake up 2
Um
years later, holy shit.
Well, and then there's just the classic case of cheating, which it has happened to me before where it happened to me recently, actually. I was talking with, I won't say any names, but I was working with a client and he was having me find him sites all over Dallas. And we'd had multiple conversations and they all went well. I mean, I had no thought of anything being wrong.
Right.
And then I presented him a few more sites and I wanted to get on a call with him and he said, "Oh, please call my broker." And he gave me his name and I was like, "Wait, what?" I
What?
was so confused. He wouldn't answer the phone, but he would text me and he just kept saying like, "Call my broker." So, I don't know
Wow.
if his broker found out and got upset, but it was frustrating because like you said, I'd wasted a lot of time and it also all of these red flags can feel very disrespectful because
Hmm.
we take all of this so seriously, right? This is our business and our life.
Exactly.
So to use someone's time and then just kind of like brush them aside is it can be really hurtful, but we have to learn how to like cope with that in this business and bounce back.
And it's such a fine line because that's how you get business a lot of the time, but you just never know if you're getting
Mhm.
full transparency on the other
They're
side.
being used and abused. It's almost like we need to ask for their cell phone and check their text messages and their social media and see, is anything suspicious going on here?
But thankfully, these are few and far between for the most
Yes.
part. They unfortunately do happen because that's just the name of the game and that's how our business works. But it's so good to learn, and I had it happen to me. I remember my first time and I called dad and started crying on the phone with him. I was like, "What did I do wrong?" They decided to work with somebody else. And it's
Yeah.
so easy to take it on yourself and be like, "Wow, I really messed up. Like, what did I say wrong? What question did I not answer correctly?" And sometimes it's just there is no explanation, and
No, it
you
can be a
never
million
know. It
things.
could be a million
Yeah.
things, and you never know if they have somebody in their ear that's like, "Oh, my cousin does it, my family,"
Mhm.
there's connections and already pre-established relationships that can get in the
Totally.
mix. So, there's so many layers to it. You can't take it personally.
Yeah, and I feel like when I first started, I kind of did take it personally, and it was hard to bounce back from that. And like over time, as I've grown, I feel like I'm able to kind of understand that that happens and move forward a little more quickly from it, and understand that like the relationships that you have with your clients, like the right ones, will last for 20, 30 years. There's so many clients. Like, one of the ways that when this happens, I can kind of bounce back is just by focusing on some of the amazing clients I do have. I mean, I have clients that I absolutely adore. Like, it has nothing to do with business. They're just wonderful people and they're dear friends. And honestly, that's how I want all my clients. That's the way I want my relationship to be with everybody. And focusing on those people, it's like very easy to know that this probably wasn't personal. Yes, maybe it hurt, but if they were going to treat you that way, it's not a relationship you wanted anyway.
Which is a line that I used for one of my girlfriends about her relationship, like, literally this week. So, that feels
Yeah.
very applicable, but you're exactly right. Just reframing the narrative of this is gonna continue to happen for whatever reason. This is what's best. They need to work with someone else, and what goes around comes around. I'm a big believer in
Yes,
karma and, like, putting out good energy. If someone doesn't wanna work with you, like, no hard feelings, no sweat, and focus
100%.
on your pipeline and what's coming and other clients that you do have and just, securing the next deal.
But
So
I will say never burn a bridge because sometimes, especially when you're starting, that can be tempting because
mhm.
you just wanna send a text so bad that even just says, like, "Why did you waste my time?"
That even
Anyway,
just says
but you just can't, you just can't. You can burn those bridges with, like, the men in your life, that's fine, but the
yes,
businesses, no. Like, you never know, those people may come back to you in the future, so you always wanna stay, like, a notch above.
right.
Don't lower yourself to those standards.
I wouldn't give that advice for a partner, though. Do whatever you want to a partner.
100%. If they did that to you, you tell them what's up. Do
Exactly.
not hold back.
You type whatever feels right, but then keep your mouth shut when it comes to the
Yeah.
business.
Careful, like, when we're texting because we could, by accident, send, like, the text to our boyfriend, to our client, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, what did I do to make you so
I know.
mad?"
I know. At the end of the day, it's better to know early on at the beginning that this is how that relationship's gonna be so you can protect yourself, protect your boundaries, and move forward and focus on the other deals.
Yes, focus
Dad
on the rest of
always
your own business.
Yeah, and this business is like a marathon. It's not a sprint. You win some, you
Mhm.
lose some. So put out the good energy and do your best in each situation. But when you walk away and if it doesn't turn out successful, you can't let it ruin your next month.
Oh.
I'm a huge believer in that. Like, okay, what can I do better next time? If there is something great, I'll work on that. If not, it wasn't meant to be.
Well, our dad was a big time football player and he played outside linebacker all through high school and college. And his always had these amazing football analogies for us. That was such a big part of his life. And he was like, usually he was probably the smallest guy on most of the teams because he's not a big guy for playing college football, but he had so much passion that he was usually always team captain. And he always would tell us, like, when I put on my helmet and I walked on the field, it was 110%, and I would win no matter what. I would encourage my teammates. It was just like he gave everything, and then he said, as soon as the game was over, I would take off my helmet, and I would walk off, and I'd leave it all on the field, and I would be able to go be present. And it's such an amazing lesson. Like, that analogy of on and off the field, I try and do that in my work. It's like when it's game time, like, we're all in, but then when it's over, even if you
Right.
lost or you won.
Which is so much easier said than done, but
Yes,
we're
that is
working
so
on
true.
it. We're working on it.
Okay, so I want to jump to our part of this, which is our retail therapy. So we have been talking about some of our favorite new products and things we've been trying, and we wanted to share a couple of those with you guys this week.
Yes.
So, Delaney, do you have anything you've been obsessing about lately in the retail world that's kind of been your retail therapy?
I mean, the list is a mile long. There's so many things I could
So
name.
many.
Makeup products that I'm trying, new food or drinks like beverages that I've been bringing to work.
Mhm.
There's so many things, but okay, this feels super applicable because I literally went last night, Friday night, before I went to LA. I needed a fit for this concert I was going to. It was like super last minute, didn't have anything to wear.
Wait, tell us what you wore. Tell me what
Yeah.
you wore.
Well, so this is very important. Okay. So was working all week, had zero time to go find an outfit. And for some little context, it's pouring rain in California this week. Pouring rain.
Of course.
The entire state is getting like record breaking rain. So it's downpouring. And California obviously does not know how to handle the rain. So streets are flooding, freeways are closing, accidents are happening. I mean, it's horrible. And we're literally on day 1.5 of this like 8-day rain.
Wow.
It's supposed to last until end of next week.
Dang.
So it's actually really scary. A lot of people are staying inside, canceling
Because a
traveling
lot of the floods
plans.
happen in California because everything's so dry, right? You get the mudslides.
Totally. Yes. And
Yeah.
all the Los Angeles fires just happened not too long ago. and so mudslides are a huge concern. So super, super dangerous and scary, and we're praying that everything works out. But that's the context. Pouring rain, 10 o'clock at night, concert in Los Angeles, right? So hair's wet, clothes are wet, shoes are wet. I mean, there's no staying dry. So I'm like, what am I going to wear that I'm going to be warm? I'm going to be comfortable. I'm not going to be sick by the time I get home
Yeah.
from being out in the wet, cold rain for 6 hours, and did not have anything in my closet, which is very normal for me because I'm like, I just need something new.
In your closet, I'm sure,
Yeah.
nothing at all to
In
wear.
my
To wear.
walk-in closet,
Yeah.
like not a single thing. So nothing that was good enough for me to wear. Okay.
Of course, yeah.
So I made a stop on the way to LA yesterday, and I went to this cute little, it's like an upscale secondhand store. It's called Uptown Cheapskate.
Yeah, we have
And
those here.
okay, I am obsessed with them. Have you been to
Yeah.
one?
It's been a while, but I have. They have a lot of cute stuff. And isn't it
So
all a lot of
good.
it's, like, really high quality, like, designer,
It's,
but
yeah,
it's was it resell, right?
yes, it's like
Yeah.
thrifting, but I don't even, you can't even call it that because it's so high end. It's so well done. The brands are high end. I mean, there was Joe Brown in there. I don't know if you're familiar with that
Yeah.
brand. Their tank tops are $100, like literally, and they're selling them for $10 there.
Oh my gosh, I
So
love that.
really good brands, and they have everything color coded. The sizes are sectioned off, which if you ever go thrifting, you know, one of the worst parts is digging through, because you have to try and
Finding
find
your
your
right,
size, and yeah,
right.
and everything's typically just kind of like thrown in there, which is fine. We love a treasure hunt as well. But this one just feels so much more manageable because it's all organized and it's clean,
Oh my
and
gosh,
you
I
can
love
go in and
that.
go, okay, I need a black top and I need it to be sleeveless. I'm going to go to this section. And it's literally, they're all right there. So it's easy, and they have the cutest stuff. So I am a huge supporter. I would love to have their CEO on Brick and Brand someday.
We
If you
will.
Exactly. So type it into Google. If you have an Uptown cheapskate close by to you, go immediately. It will be life-changing, I promise you.
I love the idea of being able to get high quality stuff that's resale. I'm just a huge believer in that because not only is it more sustainable, like we're creating all this new stuff and then people just don't use it. Like so there's so many great things and pieces and bags that have only been lightly used, but nobody's ever going to use them. Why do you need to go spend 10 times as
Totally.
much just to make it new? I just love the idea of making fashion and quality brands accessible to everybody. So you don't have to be super wealthy or make a certain amount of money to get a nice bag. I just love that idea and that mission. So that inspired me. I will go to my location as well
Yes, you have to.
this weekend.
And
Well,
then do a
that's
haul for
amazing.
us. Do a haul of what you get. I want a full
Yes, I
video of
will, and
everything.
I
Okay.
will probably max out my credit card. Well, mine is not as exciting, but it's a little bit different. I am a huge lover of this vanilla cold brew oat milk latte.
Wait, I love those.
The bottles are so cute. They have a matcha one in a green bottle, but I usually get this one. It has about 80 grams of caffeine, but it also has collagen, which for all the girls out there, we obviously want our coffee, but we don't want a bunch of sugar and we want to get our collagen boost. So
Mhm.
it's like this guilt free way to have a delicious, like little coffee in the morning. And it's just enough for me to get me going without feeling overly jittery because I'm a little bit sensitive to caffeine. I get like shaking and I can't like think straight if I overdo it on the caffeine. So, I have one of those every single morning and I just couldn't recommend them enough. You can buy them in packs of like 9 or 12. They're at Whole Foods, they're at Costco, they're on Amazon, and you can completely feel good about what you're putting in your body and you will leave with a little pep in your step for the days.
Yes.
Please try it. I'll mail
Wait,
you some, Delaney.
what's the brand for anyone who's not
So
watching?
it's called Pop and Bottle
Okay.
Vanilla Cold Brew Oat Milk Latte with collagen.
Okay.
And it's dairy free, no sugar, very clean for all the healthy girlies out there.
I also feel like it's so hard to find a good canned coffee or even bottled coffee. It's
Yes.
so hard. I know I'm picky, but 99% of what I've tried is not great.
It's gross,
And
or you can
I
taste all the sugar in it.
exactly, or it's like, grimy kind of, it's textured. It
Yeah,
isn't right, it isn't the same as getting a fresh coffee, and
right.
so you introduced me to that brand when we were in ICSC last year.
Yes,
I
that's
was
right.
headed into the first real estate convention of my life, and little did I know I was about to be put through the freaking ringer.
The hardest 2 days of
72
your
hours
life.
of literal
Yeah,
hell.
yeah.
And Brettley shows up. I get to the hotel, and Brettley has 2 of these little coffees laid out on my coffee table, and I was like, "Thank you, God." But they're phenomenal. Like, whatever
Yeah.
they're doing it right because it's
Well, it's
so
gotten to
good.
be where I bring them everywhere that I travel. I put them in a Ziploc bag and I take them on the plane
Love it.
because literally all these trips that we go on, these work trips, you're not in your routine. You don't have your local coffee place, but you're going, so you need the caffeine. So I love being able to just like pull this out of my bag and always stay caffeinated
Yes.
on the move. It's literally the best.
Yes.
So I've been obsessing over that lately.
I love it. It's giving very I didn't try, but I have my shit together. I didn't
Except
have
I
to
do really try, but no one needs to know that. It's effortless.
wait,
Isn't that
so
like the new word?
exactly, effortless. Yes,
Yeah.
effortless is the new word. You said you can get them at Costco? I didn't know
I
that.
think so.
Okay,
Let me fact check that first.
but even
I know
Amazon,
you can get them on Amazon and at Whole Foods,
that's
and
amazing.
we'll link in the show notes all the other places you can get them because I'm typically just always get them at the same place.
Yeah, and having just a repeat Amazon subscription order, golden, you're done.
At
Scratch it off your grocery list.
100%. So that's a wrap on our first date client win guide. And if you like hanging with us today, don't be shy. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify, Apple Music, and of course, our website. We'll be
Yes,
back
and
next
speaking
week.
of our website, make sure you go on there and submit a brand that you have in your city that you're obsessed with because we love to find new brands to obsess over. And what is everyone doing? I want to know what people
Yes.
love, where they're shopping at in their cities. And we do travel all the time, so we use these as recommendations for
Yes.
our travels, but also we can talk about it on the pod. And so submit us a favorite brand of yours and let us know what you're obsessed with.
And we'll be back next week to bring to life the epic clash that is unfolding between retail's biggest power players. Get excited next week.
Wait, that's such a mic drop. That's so exciting.
It is going to be exciting.
Everyone get ready, mark your calendars, clear your schedules. It's going to be a great episode. We have a lot to talk about and it's going to be very intense.
You won't want to miss it.
Don't want to miss
See you
it.
next week.
Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for watching.